So controversy be damned here. Kudos to Warner Brothers and DC for putting on the big boy pants, growing a pair, and giving us something completely unique from the genre that we've ever seen before. And with that, I'm welcome to another episode of The Romancer. My goal, as always, is to enhance the movie watching experience. So Joker, this is one I was really excited about coming into the year. I love the idea and prospect of having a film completely disassociated from anything DC's ever done. This is a one-off, if you will, something that is not part of any universe, whatever the case is, something completely different than we've seen before in the comic book genre. And my excitement was there even before I heard all the positive and rave reviews that it got when it premiered at the Venice Film Festival about a month ago, more or less. And the money interpretation about this film was Todd Phillips, who is the director here. This is a guy who is known for comedy, great classic comedies, The Hangover, Old School, for example, but hasn't done anything of real weight behind it, no real substance. And I was wrong. I'll admit it here because Todd Phillips knocks it out of the park. No, what Todd Phillips did so well here, and he does a lot of things well, but this whole idea about this origin story about a villain, and the Joker, of course, one of the most famous, most popular villains in comic book history, which you've seen plenty of times on TV, animation, the movies, of course, several iterations of this character. Such an interesting character, which is why, for the most part, he's done so well in so many different ways. And Todd Phillips presenting us this such a deep character study about this guy who, obviously has mental illness, has issues, and the stuff that happens to him and his journey that he goes through that inevitably cracks him mentally, and he inevitably becomes the Joker that we know of today here. And I love how he takes his time with this story and he builds his narrative and focuses on the character itself. And it's a slow burn. I know some people hear that, they get allergic to that. I get it. Just because it's slow doesn't mean it's not good. It's deliberately paced for a reason, because all this is going on and builds up to this great crescendo in the last 30 minutes of this film. Are fantastic here. And a big part of the success besides Phillips is, of course, Joaquin Phoenix. And let's be clear here. This is his movie. He is fantastic. Now, Phoenix, of course, is no surprise here. He's one of Hollywood's best actors. He has been for years. He's not a well-known actor because he does a lot of small roles and a lot of independent films. He chooses his roles he's very particular what he chooses to do here, which is why it's fascinating. I understand why he picked this role here. You see in movies like in Her, which he's great in, a different kind of quirky movie. You're Never Really There, a movie came out last year, which is fantastic. Again, movies that people really didn't see. And so he doesn't have that, that notoriety that actors do. But this is a career-defining role here. This is the one where people are going to mention his name, and your friends will be like, who's that guy? Yeah, the guy who played the Joker. Oh, that guy. This is exactly the kind of role he's going to be known for from this point forward here. And he's brilliant. He's fantastic. He immerses himself in this role. Whether you like this movie or not, there's no doubt, no denying that you're going to say this guy is phenomenal. And, he takes such a deep dive. He appears so sympathetic, and you can see his change as he progresses through the film. When his mind is finally snapping, he becomes the Joker here, and it's so satisfying on what he does here. His performance is so nuanced, the physicality, even his movements, everything is so calculated here, and it's great. I mean, it's so engaging. It's fantastic to see a guy at the top of his game doing a role like this, and something completely different from the other iterations of Joker that we've seen before. And inevitably people are going to ask, is this as good as Heath Ledger's Joker? And to that I'll say it's completely different. You can't compare it to, because the movies are completely different wavelengths. The characters themselves are a totally different wavelengths. And whether you like them better or not, that's for you to decide. But I will say this though, Joaquin Phoenix had a lot more to carry here, because he's in virtually every scene in this movie. And without his performance, this movie does not work. Heath Ledger was in Batman for about 15, 20 minutes in The Dark Knight. And he had, obviously there was Christian Bale, and there was Gary Oldman, and, et cetera, Eckhart and all that, and Two-Face, et cetera. And Joker doesn't have that. Joaquin Phoenix doesn't have that. This is a movie about the Joker, about Arthur Fleck, this character who goes through so much and ends up just being a broken man to a certain degree, and how his actions, his consequences, and how the people around in the city of Gotham react to that, and what it leads to there. And I'll say this because this movie which I loved, I thought it was great, and this is a movie which I hope is a landmark film, something so different and unique. And this is in the comic book genre. It almost doesn't feel like a comic movie at all. This feels like something completely different, completely independent film. Here's what this is that happens to have a popular comic book character in it. But essentially, this is not what this is. So that being said, I can see this movie being very divisive amongst the casual fans out there, because for those who the casual comic book movie fan. And if you walk in here expecting, huge stakes, explosions, action sequences, you want to see Batman flying and saving the day, this is not this movie. This is not, I know you hear Joker and you're thinking, we're going to see that character we've seen so many times before brought to life again. Joker is out there hatching some scheme to take over Gotham. No, this is not that movie. That's what you want. That's what you expect. You're not going to like this film. I can tell you right now. In addition to that, those who like the warmer fuzzies, I love the warmer fuzzies. I love that blanket, the security blanket that keeps you safe at night. I love walking to a movie and walk out with a happy ending and feel good about yourself, and maybe a movie that you get emotionally immersed in and get the feels and all that. I get all that. And I love seeing those kind of movies. I do. But every so often, I want to see something that's different, something dark and disturbing that's going to create some conversation with whoever you're watching it with. And this is what this movie does. If that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, if you want to feel good coming out of a movie, you don't want to come out of a movie thinking you got to take a shower, put a Disney movie on to make it so you feel better. If that sounds like you, this movie is not for you. I tell you right now. And those are the kind of people I think are going to be put off from this film. Those who don't mind that, you want to see something dark and different, this is like a movie you need to see. I have nothing else for Joaquin Phoenix's performance because he is that good. It's Oscar worthy, no question about it. Whether he wins or not remains to be seen, but he has to garner a nomination, no doubt about it. And again, buyer beware with that. I like this. I love this movie. I love the chances that it takes. I love the fact that it's a comic book movie that does not feel like a comic book movie. The last 30 minutes here are fantastic. And don't get me wrong, there are tie-ins to the comic book world. They just take place in Gotham City. We have the Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, of course, and other Arkham Asylum, et cetera, et cetera. And there's one scene, particularly in the end, which obviously brings everything back to a comic book world. That being said, though, again, this is not so far different from that. And I hope this becomes a landmark film, a film which hopefully spawns other movies like this, giving us something darker, something with some edge, these one-off movies not tied to all these universes, et cetera, just a standalone movie about a particular character and things that we normally don't get to see and we're never going to get to see, particularly for Marvel. And I get why. This is not their cup of tea. So I hope we get more this year, and this movie could spark that depending how the audience reacts to this film. Financially, it's going to do fine, obviously, particularly the first weekend. So Joker, is this movie for you? I think you guys should go decide for yourselves. You want to see good filmmaking, you want to see a good dark drama, a great character study, highly recommend this film. If nothing else, see it for a great performance by Joaquin Phoenix. This is one of the year's best, one of my favorites of the year, no question about it. If you do watch it, comment below, let me know what you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.